I'd also like to welcome Scott Houldieson from Ford's Chicago Assembly Plant, writer and editor of the local union paper, longtime activist and working towards equality on his shop floor. So this is Scott.
Hello everybody, and thank you for your hospitality. My name is Scott Houldieson. I'm an auto worker, electrician at Ford Chicago Assembly Plant. I'm here to talk about some successes that I have experienced personally at our plant that didn't turn into successes, and how to turn that around. Didn't turn into ultimate successes. Of course, in 2007, we took a horrendous contract that established a two-tier wage system, established a VIBA for retirees, which I hope to be one day. And I expect to see that VIBA, which is really my health care and retirement, I see the handwriting on the wall, and it's not looking good. It's not saying good things. The auto workers have been getting the shaft for the last 30 years. We've been facing increasingly worse working conditions in the plants, and increasingly, slowly at first, taking concessions. The concessions that we've taken, Sean is living proof of it, is the tiered system. And that tiered system started slowly. It didn't really start in 2007. It started from going from a 90-day, your full wage and benefit package kicked in, to 18 months, and then the next contract would be 3 years, and then the next contract would be a little something else that they gave back. Oh, and in the meantime, they start putting in these little nuggets called signing bonuses. So whenever the signing bonus is big, you realize that there's something in that contract that is really bad for you. At Chicago Assembly Plant, we've been fighting the tiered system. We actually went down during the Great Recession. We went down to from 2 shifts down to 1 shift. That really scared a lot of people. And then when they came to us to open the contract, because the companies were all in such peril of collapsing and going into liquidation and no longer having an auto industry, they came to us with open the contract with modifications. In those modifications, we gave back COLA, we gave back some holidays, we gave back some break time, and we gave back some bonuses that we had gotten in the place of raises. A raise stays with you for the rest of your career, whereas a bonus is a one-time thing. We all know that. It's something that they throw into contracts to try and keep our wages down, while saying, hey, we gave you something. Well, not only did they not give us the raise, they turned around, opened the contract up, and the bonus that we were supposed to get in place of a raise, they took that away. So we were upset, we were mad, but we went along with that first concession package. And they sold it to us by saying, well, GM and Chrysler are in worse conditions than you are at Ford. You really want to set the standard here. You want to be the pattern that they have to follow. And it sold. It passed. And then GM and Chrysler, with the help of the government, the U.S. government, and the Obama administration, took worse concessions than we did. So what did they do? They came back to Ford. They said, well, we really need to follow pattern bargaining. Wait a minute. When Ruther set up this pattern bargaining strategy, the pattern was you take the company that was going to give you the most, and then you pattern after that. Now you're using the pattern against us. So they perverted the pattern bargaining that Ruther had established as a really a innovative way to approach negotiations. So in the second round of concessions, they asked for us to give up the right to strike because GM and Chrysler had it. They asked us to extend, we had a cap of 20% on the second tier workers. They wanted us to remove the cap so they could make it as many second tier as they like. And we said, hell no. Hell no, we won't. We voted that second round of concessions down. We weren't willing to give up the tools that we needed to get back what they were taking from us. And that gave me a little bit of hope. And I ran for office in the next election, got elected delegate, got elected financial secretary, and then when the contract came around, Vicki, can you pass it? This is my lovely wife, Vicki, here. She has some pamphlets that I passed out at the plant, and I'll share those with you. The first one that I passed out about a month before the contract was called Exceed Our Expectations. I passed it out not only at our plant, but I sent a copy of it to Bob King and I sent a copy of it to Jimmy Settles. And I asked them to exceed our expectations. Start getting back the things that we gave up when the companies were under duress. And, oh, by the way, by this time, management had gotten back everything that they had given up. And what was Bob King was the vice president over Ford at the time. What was his answer to that? To file a grievance. Now, what Sean was saying about, we need to examine the representational structure. Well, yeah, here's a good example of that representational structure. Bob King, the leader of our division of the Ford division of the union, said, we'll file a grievance and we'll get that that pay equity. We're going to get equity as sacrifice is what the grievance was named. And I thought, Bob, instead of being a yes man to the company, if you want to get us our benefits, our pay back, the things that we lost, these concessions, turn from a yes man to a no man. Anytime the company wants something from you, say, hey, I'm not talking to you until you make us right. That's, and that's not what happened. And he filed the grievance, and he followed it through the grievance procedure to arbitration, and guess what? We lost. We didn't get a damn thing. So that representational structure of the union is something that really does need to be re-examined. And exceed our expectations. I pointed out what our CEO had made. Alan Mullally, the CEO, was compensated as Ford was starting to turn it around with a salary of $26 million and a profit-sharing bonus of $57 million. So if you compare that to an auto worker, he was making 1,270 times what an average top-tier automaker made. And if you compared it to an entry-level auto worker, a tier 2 auto worker, he was making 2,515 times what Sean was making. That's just obscene. It's completely obscene. And the people at my plant, when I passed this out to it, they didn't realize that until you put it in black and white in front of them. So through these leaflets, I started organizing the people in our plant. And I also laid out what our sacrifices were in this leaflet, what we gave up since 2007, and then I put what we should get back. We need to end the temporary language, long-term supplementals, temporary part-time. These are disposable UAW union dues paying members, but they're disposable to the company. I said we need to eliminate two-tier. Two-tier has to go. It's one of the biggest things that divides our union is the two-tier wage structure. And we want COLA back. We hadn't had a raise in, at that time, 6 years, and we had actually lost 99 cents an hour with the COLA. So we wanted those things back, and I explained that to them. And we need more money for VIVA because when I do finally get to retire, I'd like to have some health care. Thank you very much. With that, Jimmy Settles replied, and he said, it's really not helpful for you to, pass out these leaflets. It kind of confuses the membership. And by the way, this letter that I just sent you, I hope it's just between you and me. Then the day before the ratification vote, I passed out the second leaflet. And it's called Shared Sacrifice Requires Shared Gain as well. And Vicki and I stood at the gate of the plant and passed it out to every worker as they came in so that they would have the opportunity to understand what Ford's profit looked like at the time, because Ford had turned it around. They had turned it around handsomely. They were making $6-7 billion a year by this time. I did the math for them. I laid it out in black and white. If Ford had paid every entry-level employee, every second-tier level employee at the top wage for the year before that, their profit, instead of being $6.6 billion, would have been should have put my glasses on. $6.48 billion. Okay, so you lost $0.2 billion by paying your workers an equitable rate. The signing COLA had we not lost the 99 cents an hour, had the COLA just been frozen, Ford would have I'm sorry, that was the 6.4 billion, and the entry level was 6.5 billion they would have made. So those two things combined, Ford still would have made $6.4 billion. How's a company to make it on profits like that? Such poor CEOs. Then I went on to explain what a signing bonus was. I asked where you first heard about a signing bonus. Usually you heard about it with pro athletes, and I gave the example of Joe Theismann. The reason for a signing bonus in pro athletes is because their careers are short. They typically don't last more than a few years. So they want to get that money loaded up front. So that's why they get a signing bonus, because they can't expect to hold on for a 30-year career. For auto workers, it's a different story. That signing bonus is a bribe. It's a bribe to get you to buy into a bad contract. And then I went on to explain that the company was trying to divide us. This contract that we were about to vote on was a divisive contract. It pitted long terms and second tier against first tier. It pitted active against retired. And that we needed to vote this contract down. And at our plant, that's exactly what we did. We voted it down by 77%. We were excited. We were excited by that turnout. We had a big turnout. We were excited by that nice number, that 77%. And we were hoping that it would carry over and that it would gain momentum as we went through the voting process at the other locals. But what happened was our vice president at the time, Jimmy Settles, who was still our vice president, he posted on his Facebook page that if you guys vote this contract down, we're going to take you out on strike and Ford's going to hire scabs. We're not going back to the negotiating table. He threatened us. The vice president of our union threatened our jobs. What kind of a union do we have in the UAW? That's something we really need to examine hard. What could we have done differently in that negotiation or in that ratification voting process? What I think I could have done better was reach out not only to my own local, but reached out further to other UAW locals in the Ford system. Once that threat got out there, the plant started voting 95% in favor. And they didn't have these numbers to back them up on it. So they didn't have this information at their fingertips. So we can't organize just at our plant. We have to organize broadly. And that's something that your next speaker, Greg Shotwell, has been very helpful with. He was an inspiration to me. His leaflets, his live bait and ammo leaflets, which many of them are in his book, were an inspiration to me. But I also got labeled a radical by the leadership in the plant because I was friends with Greg. So anyway, whether I was a radical or not is open for discussion, but the fact is I won my election. I got elected in spite of being a radical. And anyway, the third one in here, I'm just going to touch on it briefly. It was in response to the announcement that the equity of sacrifice grievance that when they were selling the contract to us, they said, well, just hold on, go ahead and pass this contract. We're going to get a bunch of this stuff back when the equity of sacrifice grievance is settled in our favor. And when it came out, I had predicted in the first place that it was going to go nowhere, that it was not going to get settled in our favor. And I kind of rubbed it in a little. But anyway, what I wanted to point out is that we have to prepare. We have to prepare for the fight for 2015. That's when our contracts are up again. And we have to be willing to go out on strike. And we also need some reforms in our union. We need direct election for our International Executive Board so that when they bring us these bad contracts, when they force them down our throats, we have some way to hold them accountable, because right now we have no way to hold our international officers accountable for the things that they've been doing to us. And with that, I'll conclude my portion and hand it over to Greg.